everybody, it's Michelle and I've got some more BB Craft products to share with you guys today. This time I was given 3 products and this one I'm going to go over last. I've got some things in the way of embroidery this time and I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So I got some embroidery fabric pieces. This is the really stiff sort of canvas-like fabric that is woven in a grid for embroidery. And I'm going to go ahead and get one piece of that out because we'll go ahead and work with that today. So that package was one product on its own with the fabric. Separately was a product of the 2-pair set of scissors here. And I just love these decorative scissors. Here we've got a larger pair that is shaped like the Eiffel Tower, and I thought that was a lot of fun. And then we have the little pair here shaped like a stork. I think those are so cute. And then this 3rd product was all one kit with all of these products inside. So I'll leave you guys a link to everything in the description below. Okay, so we've got a punch needle here that's included in the kit. And then we've got here what I've seen. It is actually a punch needle set is what it says, but it has been promoted as an embroidery tool. And that's the first thing that I wanted to share with you guys before I really get into using this. I really thought it was for embroidery type of projects, but it's actually for punch needle. And if you know anything about those 2 projects, they're very different. So if you're looking for traditional embroidery, hand embroidered stitches, this is not the tool for you, but it is for punch needle. So we'll look at that. And then we've got a set of needles here. Those could be used for traditional embroidery. And then we've got a couple of little spool cards there for our embroidery floss. And then finally we've got all of these colors of embroidery floss. I'm going to pick out a couple of colors here, maybe some green. We'll do maybe a flower with a stem on it. We'll give that a try. So for our flower, I think I'll choose this sort of coral color. Actually, I think I'll go with more of a pink as well as maybe a lighter green. So it doesn't matter. Pick whatever colors you want. There is a multitude of colors in that set. And then I'm going to bring in an embroidery hoop. This was already mine that I had. I did not get this from BB Craft, but they do have another set for embroidery that includes the hoops, and it includes this pin as well, I think, but not this one. So if you guys want, I'll go ahead and leave you a link to that set as well so you can get some hoops. Now we've got our fabric on the hoop and we're ready to try a little bit of embroidery. And I'm just going to set the traditional needles aside. I'm sure you all know how to use those. And we're going to look at our, it's not advertised on here as such, but I've seen it called a magic embroidery pin. But just to tell you guys the truth, I thought it was for embroidery when I ordered this set, and I'm not so much into needle punch, so I'll just tell you guys, I would rather use the traditional needles. If you're wanting to do traditional embroidery, that's what you would need to do. And we've got a couple of extra needles here, and I'm going to change that out because actually this one is quite large. So I'm going to take my little knob off there, take the guard off of my smaller needle. And I can pull this completely out the back end and change it there. And I'm just going to give that a little twist to the right and pull that out. As you can see, that little shape there matches the little prongs on the side here. So I'm just going to take that old one and I'm going to put my safety cap onto it and pop it back into my case there. And put on my smaller needle, twist it toward the left to get that set in there, and put it back down into my pin. Replace the little metal slide and the knob, and with that you just adjust how much of your needle you want showing out of there if you want. And the thing with this is it's because it's for punch needle, which makes the long loops like you used to see in rugs. And the longer the needle out here is how long your loops will be. So I'm going to come to about the middle, which is about 5 or 6. Actually, my little knob there feels like it has, like the threads are messed up on where that screws in, so be careful of those. They are plastic threads. And then I'm just going to put my cap back on the end. It does come with 2 threaders that are on the package, and as you can see, they are very long. So what you want to do is put the end of that up through the hollow center of your needle. Be careful not to poke yourself on the needle like I just did. With this skinniest needle, it is a little bit of a struggle to get that threader through there. And then you can take that cap off the end if it makes it a little easier for you to get that through, so that you don't have to line that up with the hole on your cap. Then I'm going to slip the cap back on because I do want it on there when my embroidery floss goes through. So first I'm going to try the green. We'll do a flower stem. So with that through there, I'm just going to open that threader and put my embroidery floss in there, and that'll help me pull it back through that long needle. And I pulled a little too hard and pulled my tab off of the end. There we go. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and sketch out a little flower stem. I like to have a little bit of a guide. I want to see the smooth side. If you're doing the loops, your loops are going to appear back here. So if you want to do the traditional punch needle where you're having the looped surface as your front to your work, then you want to put your front on the back side of the way you're working. But I want to use the smooth stitches instead. Actually, I forgot a step in threading that. I'm glad I noticed that. So I'm going to get my threader, and you want to go through the eye of your needle at the very tip and put your floss through there, and then pull that back through the eye of your needle there at the tip. That's a very important step. Don't forget that. I apologize for that. So now what we want to do is we always want where that comes out of the side of the needle, this is where we're coming from. And this tapered side that's hollow in the direction that we're going toward. So I'm going to start with my hollow tapered side toward the rest of my stem there. And I'm going to go ahead and punch through. And since I messed up those threads, I'm going to hold by my button here to try to hold that in place. Very important not to break those threads like I did if you're going to do, especially if you're going to do the needle punch. So at that point, if you're wanting to use the front side like I am, then you want to go ahead and pull the tail of your thread through so that it'll be hidden on the back side. But like I said, if you're doing punch needle, this will be your front side. So just leave it the way you started without pulling it through. And since I want this to be the presentation side that's going to be pretty, I'm going to hold my thumb on that stitch to make sure that it doesn't pull out. And I'm going to pull up and move forward just another stitch. And pulled a little too much there. Pull that back through the back end. And the thing about punch needle, the reason I don't like it is it's not really very secure. As you can see, I've already pulled some of my stitches out because that would be your loop, and then when you pull that back through, I'm pulling my loop back through, so I don't know if I'm not so good at punch needle, but as you can see, it'll all pull back out from those loops. So now I'm going to go in with my next stitch, and you can see how that pokes through, and just that loop is the only thing that's going to hold it into position. And my loop didn't work. So I'm pulling out my loops every time, and I'm not ending up with any stitches. I'm going to count my losses on that one and set it aside. But let's try it with the traditional punch needle that doesn't have all of that size adjustment and everything, and see if we're any more successful with that. Like I told you guys, this is really not my forte with the punch needle. I thought this was for embroidery. So this also comes with 2 long threaders. They're not quite as long. So I'm going to go up through the needle. And that's actually not long enough. Let me try this one. Not long enough either. I'm going to go back to the one that came with the larger pin. And we'll put that through so that we've got plenty of length. I hope I'm a little more successful with this next try. Maybe punch needle is not for me. I do love embroidery though, with the hand embroidered stitches. Okay, so I put that through my threader, and I'm going to pull it back through out the tip of my needle. And then I'm going to put my threader back through the eye of the needle down at the tip. From the outside going in toward that hollow center. And put my embroidery floss into there and pull it back out the eye of the needle. And take that off of my threader. Okay, so this one doesn't have all of the bells and whistles, the adjustment wheel, and all of that. So let's give this a try and see if we do any better. So I'm going to punch through. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the tail of my yarn through, since that's going to be my back. And now we'll try just coming up. And we'll go through. And that's actually working a lot better just with the traditional one. You can see how it's making those little loops, and to do that and keep your loops uniform, you just want to punch through and go all the way until that won't go through anymore. That way the length of your needle will determine the size of your loop. And then go forward to the next stitch, being careful that your fingers are out of the way on the back side. And I actually was trying to learn a little bit about punch needle once I received this kit and discovered that it was for punch needle and not traditional embroidery. And in that research I actually learned that there is a special fabric that you're supposed to use for punch needle. And you stretch that out onto your hoop here, and once you do that and make your stitches, and then once your pattern is complete and you remove everything, it's going to draw back together where it's very stretchy of a fabric, and it'll draw back and hold tension on those and hold your loops in place. I'm just going to come back down on my flower stem, and actually that's making a double stitch, and that's really reinforcing everything, so I like that. Now I can turn and go up toward my other little stem. I can stop along the way and put a little leaf. I think maybe denim would be a good choice to try this on. Even a stretch denim, if you had it, I think would work really great. Okay, so I veered off my pattern there a little bit and made that stem droop a little bit. The pattern is just a guide. I'm going to thread it again with the pink. See if we can make a flower on top. Okay, so I'm going to do my flower up here, and then I think I'm going to call it a day. I don't know if punch needle is for me. Actually, see if we can go for some long stitches. And back again. I'm kind of cheating. I'm kind of holding those loops from the back side. And it's still trying to pull loose on me slightly. Okay, so all of my flower ends are coming loose, and I'm not doing a very good job with my flower. I did pretty good down here with the loops. I do like to do traditional embroidery, and if you guys do needle punch and you're a little more comfortable with it, you may have more success with this than I have. And I'm not going to give it a bad review because, like I said, I didn't know it was for needle punch, and I wasn't really clear on what I was ordering. And it's a craft I'm not comfortable with anyway, so I'll let you guys be the judge. And I may try to find some kits on BB Craft, maybe geared more toward traditional hand embroidery, which is what I like to do. And when I do traditional embroidery, I do want to use these cute scissors. If nothing else, those were absolutely adorable. I love those. I actually kind of liked this, not so much with this. So you guys let me know what you think. So if you guys do want to pick up this set for yourself, I'll have the links in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a like over on my Facebook page. And be sure to join our Facebook group, Crafty Minds. Also follow me on Pinterest and Instagram. And don't forget to visit my blog. I'll have the links to everything as well as product links for BBCraft in the description below. So be sure and check them out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.